to see the question of race answered once and for all. He was not unlike thousands of other researchers at prestigious universities across the United States.
In the late 19th century, alongside the rise of Jim Crow segregation in the 1890s, what you saw is that corporations developed a much more elaborate way to justify the fact that
one denies that whites and Native Americans killed each other. Sure, in 1970 in some southern schools, people might have been taught a jingoistic view of American history, but the reverse has been true for 40 years.
He says the old myths don't justify new ones, like the ones spread by today's social media influence.
We know firsthand how to live in harmony with the natural world. In fact, we did so since time immemorial.
In reality,
that's what, and by the way, let me just tell you, we needed tickets. You can't get them. You know who has the tickets for the, I'm talking about to the television audience? Donors, special interest, the people that are putting up the money. So it is. The RNC told us we have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me, the reason they're not, excuse me, the reason that
wealthy corporate elite, which was, without exception, white, to explain the reason why. That reason has its basis in what became known as the eugenics movement. You were born with either good genes.
Natives manipulated their environment to make farming easier. They set big forest fires to clear land.
Giant forest fires. You're burning alive hundreds of thousands of small animals, slower running deer. You're probably killing members of other tribes. You're modifying the environment more.
loving me is I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the American public. I don't want their money. I don't need their money. And I'm the only one up here that can say that. I know so many of the people in the audience. And by the way, I'm a self-funder. I have my wife and I have my son. That's all I have. Obviously, the war in Iraq is a big, fat mistake. All right? Now, you can take...
Or not good genes.
In the case of Miss Mason, I can see no reason for the operation that's been recommended. The girl is perfectly normal. She's hard-working and has a good reputation. Do you know?
U.S. government curriculum guides also claimed there was no prejudice, no major wars.
Nonsensical. In the Aztec capital, there were 90-foot towers of human skulls that were...
Take it any way you want, and it took Jeb Bush, if you remember at the beginning of his announcement, when he announced for president, took him 5 days. He went back. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Took him 5 days before his people told him what to say. And he ultimately said it was a mistake. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives.
Know anything about her family background? Yes, Your Honor, I do. There are several other children, aren't there? Yes. What is their condition? One is a cripple. 2 others might be classed as feeble-minded.
Isn't the oldest son in jail?
Well, yes, I believe so.
And knowing all that, you still contend that this girl should be allowed to bring more people like that into the world?
Those who have good
Were brought back from their defeated enemies.
Some tribes even practiced cannibalism, eating enemies they killed.
But still I cannot see if the savage one is me.
Yet the myth of peaceful natives lives on.
You don't.
We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake.
So
George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
he should be impeached.
should be encouraged to reproduce, and those who are, quote, unfit should be discouraged from reproducing, from having children. That eventually went into forced sterilization programs, which started in the United States, directed against African Americans, Native Americans.
You're looking at people saying the absolute opposite of reality. When myths persist despite obvious objective reality, that's an indicator of a kind of brain virus among people who want the myth.
It's my turn, isn't it?
You do whatever you want. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
To go
The
after
World
my
Trade
mother.
Center came
He
down
had the
during
gall
your
to go
brother's
after
reign.
my mother.
Remember that.
Hold on.
Immigrants in particular.
Eugenics was a pseudoscience rooted in the idea that you can A, recognize pre-biologically determined differences in people based on their ethnicity, and that B, you could construct a policy
To be real.
Why does the myth of peaceful, harmonious living among Indians versus uniquely evil oppression by Europeans live on?
All this to me is just downstream from Marxism.
Marxism? Well, it is true that at colleges today, the
Friends, the World Trade Center came down during the reign of George Bush. He kept us safe. That's not safe. That is not safe, Mark.
Oh, my mom is the strongest woman I know.
She should
This
be
is
running.
not about my family. This is a tough business to run for
I know.
president.
You're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
Real
principled.
tough.
You're never going to be president.
that favors some ethnic groups over others, both in terms of immigration policy and in terms of integration into U.S. society based on this hierarchy of heredity. This pseudoscience, this philosophy, gained a lot of traction in the United States amongst the industrialist class, especially at a time when immigrant workers, who made up a large percentage of
most assigned economist is Karl Marx. Students are taught that Western values are bad. Critical race theory amplifies that.
White Americans have more because of racism.
Critical race theory is communist.
United States by insulting your way to the
let's see, I'm
presidency.
at 42 and you're at 3, so
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You know, you started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
Don't lose your temper there. Trump, he wanted casino gambling in Florida.
I did one.
Yes, you did.
Totally.
Of workers at the turn of the 20th century were beginning to form unions, were beginning to create collective organizations, their own political parties, to challenge the conditions of industrialization which were
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Very